This is kind of a funny and at the same time depressing sad story. I stayed clean and sober for 6 months, right? And I thought I was like really on the beam, right? So I get this acting job, and it's going to take me. First, it took me to Washington, D.C. We did a show at the Arena Stage in D.C. And then the show got selected for the Black Arts Festival in Atlanta. And we go down there, and it was a big fanfare. It was like, write-ups in the newspapers and all of that, hit show comes to Atlanta. I had the lead, and I was doing pretty well. We got great reviews. I was on the cover of American Theater magazine, my God. I mean, this was some big shit, right? I got approached by the casting directors of Heat of the Night with Carol O'Connor and Howard Rollins. They said they wanted me to come in and test me for a really big part and everything. And so there was this woman who she was a makeup designer, black woman who was very, very, very attractive, right? Very hot. But she wouldn't speak to me. And I asked my castmate, I said, man, why isn't April speaking to me? And he said, come on, Lee, you know why she's not speaking to you. I said, no, I don't. Why? Because she likes you. I said, God, that's high school. That's elementary. He said, Lee, she likes you. I said, okay, let me test this out, right? So she comes in and she's doing my makeup, and I don't like to wear a lot of makeup on stage. And I said to her, I said, well, when are you taking me out to dinner? And she said, what? I said, when are you taking me out to dinner? She said, well, when are you taking me out to dinner? I said, how about Saturday night? She said, oh, you know. So we go out to dinner, and we're sitting there, and she's ordering, I never forget, it was rosé wine. She's ordering this rosé wine. I'm ordering, ginger ale, whatever. I'm on something non-alcoholic.
So this was like 6 months. You were
I
sober
was six
about six
months sober,
months?
6 months sober.
Okay.
And she's ordering the wine, and I'm looking at her drinking this wine, and the more she drank, the better she looked. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, damn. On the third glass of wine, I said to the waitress, hey, give me what she's having. And drank my glass of rosé. We were leaving the restaurant, and there was a liquor store right across the street. And I said, ah, fuck it. I already fucked up. Let me go and the Addicts National Anthem, fuck it, right? Let me go and I grabbed a bottle of Bacardi rum, took her back to my place, and I'm thinking, okay, it's that time. We're gonna do our thing. And in the middle of, all the stuff that goes on, she backed up and she says, well, how do I know that you're not gonna F me and I'll never see you again? And I'm like, what? Baby, come on. And she was like, and she wanted to talk about it. So we're talking about it, right? So I just said, you know what? Time for you to go. And she left. Now I'm sitting there and I have half a bottle of Bacardi rum. And as any good alcoholic addict does, I had driven around Atlanta while I was there. I knew where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, fuck it again. And I got in the car and I went over there. And sure enough, I found exactly what I was looking for, crack cocaine, right? And I was smoking that night, and I had a certain amount of money on me, and I run out, and the drug dealer that I was buying from, this Atlanta guy, who people already told me from the very beginning, this guy was dangerous, and I'd gotten some drugs on credit from him, and he said, "Okay, New York, time to go get that money, man." And I said, "Okay." I had put some cash money in the house where I was staying. About $3,000 I had in the house. I know I had it, but the problem was I forgot where I put it.
Oh no.
So I'm looking all over. I'm tearing the bedroom up. I'm looking all over for this money, and I cannot put my hand on it. And I came back out and I told the guy, I said, yo, man, I got the money. I just don't know where I put it. And he was with two other guys. And he looked at me, he said, you fucking with me? And I'm like, no, 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 no. He said, New York, don't come down here like they call me New York. New York, don't come down here, thinking we stupid. And I said, nah, bro, I really I have the money. I just don't know where. Give me 24 hours. I'll find it, right? His friend said, man, shoot that motherfucker. And I'm like, oh, yo. And the guy says, look, we're not gonna shoot him. He said, I'm gonna tell you what, New York, this is what we're gonna do. He said, we're gonna leave. You're gonna find that money. He said, but every minute that you're late, we adding $1 to that. Right? Every minute. Steph, I go back, I cannot find this money for the life of me. Now, my heart is pounding because, I'm playing the actor. I'm not a street guy like that. I don't have guns or anything on me. Yeah, I grew up around that, but I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh fuck. So that was on a Friday, I guess, whatever it was. We had Monday off, Tuesday afternoon. There was a knock at my door. I'm hiding. I'm thinking it's these people. But I look through and I see white hands. I look through the blinds of the window and I opened the door and it was people from the theater. And they came and said, Lee, we don't know what you're doing or what you have done, but you got to go. What happened? Well, some people came by the theater looking for you. And when we told them you weren't there, they shot up our theater. And we can't have you on the stage and they come in and shoot you. And we definitely have to look out for our audience. So we have a plane ticket right here for you to get on the plane and leave. And we had 2 more weeks to the show. I had, all the stuff going on with the people in the heat of the night. And next thing you know, I was on a plane back to New York. You talk about pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. I felt lower than whale shit, And I got back to New York and I found the money.
Where was it?
I had put it in the Bible.
Wow.
Feeling like life is good, yeah. Life is good.